All right, everybody, hello and welcome back to day 4 of the 5-day Build Your Kickstarter challenge. So if you guys are just joining us now, I just want to let you know you probably want to start on day 0 because that is where we have the worksheets that you can work on so you can kind of follow along and figure out how to build your own Kickstarter instead of just watching me build mine. But anyway, today is going to be all about setting a social media schedule. So we've had a couple of intense days in a row. We've been looking at, will your Kickstarter be successful? What kind of content you're going to need, how to build it. Today we're going to be looking at the social media aspect and really just how you should be doing your advertising and some of the options. So if you guys are ready to go ahead and join me and learn all about it, then go ahead and grab a cup, cozy up, and let's get to writing. All right, guys, so you are gonna see on your homework today, there are 2 calendars on there. One is for the month before your launch, and the second is for the month of your launch. I always launch on the 1st of the month. That is not something that you have to do. So I guess potentially you can launch really whatever day you like. I just like to start on the 1st and end at the end of the month, whether there's 30 or 31 days. That determines how long my campaign is. But you guys are welcome to determine whatever start and end dates you like. What these calendars are meant to do is kind of just give you somewhere to write down your social media ideas. And it's really so that you guys can keep yourself accountable during the month before the launch, but also during the month of the launch. If you sit down and write out ahead of time, I think I can do 3 Instagram posts per week, plus 2 Facebook posts, plus 1 live video, plus whatever it is. Setting those intentions now will help you to hold to them when it comes time for the Kickstarter to actually begin. We're just gonna go ahead and take a look at these homework pages. So you're gonna see that there is a legend, and yes, it says I am legend on it, which is because I'm hilarious, obviously. At least I find myself hilarious. Life is good when your own jokes crack you up. Anyways, what you're going to use this for is writing out all of the different platforms and ways that you're wanting to reach people. So for me, I like to do each one in different colors. So I might have different colors on that legend for Instagram, for Facebook, for whatever I'm using. And that's just so that you can kind of tell them apart really easily. So when you take a glance at that calendar, you can just filter your eyes to look for orange. If you want to know how many Instagram posts you have coming up, you might just look for the color pink. Or if you want to know how many Facebook posts you have planned, you might just look for the color blue. You can also use different shapes, different kinds of fonts in your handwriting, whatever you guys want to do. This legend is just so that you can kind of lay out what different platforms you're planning to reach. Here you, Cider. Here's Cider. He's going to be our assistant for today. And you may even think about breaking it down even a little bit further. So instead of just saying Facebook and Instagram, you might say something more like Facebook personal posts, Facebook business page posts, Facebook stories, Facebook Live, posting to specific Facebook groups. Other things that could go in this legend are Instagram stories, Instagram Reels, Instagram Live. We've got TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, whatever live versions there are of each of those. You might decide you want to do a press release with your local newspaper. I don't know that I would necessarily recommend that one. I don't think that's going to get you great results, but you guys are welcome to try anything you like for your marketing, really. So there's also snail mail, those handwritten letters that I keep telling you guys about. There's your email list. There's Twitch. You might post something to your LinkedIn account. You may post something at your local bookstore. There are a lot of options that you guys can use, and this legend probably doesn't have enough lines for all of those, but I also kind of hope you're not doing every one of the ones that I just listed out. Try not to spread yourself too thin. Pick a small handful of platforms and be really good with those ones instead of having one post on every platform. And it might be time to start thinking about what you're going to post on each of those sites instead of just saying, Facebook post this day, this day, this day. Maybe give yourself a little direction of what you want to see in those posts. Maybe you want 1 post per week to be a new illustration. Maybe you want 1 post per week to be an update about the campaign. I would definitely recommend more than 1, but we can post about the milestones that you're hitting along the way, and you could do that through GIFs, through graphics, through videos, however you guys want to post it. Just include some sort of visual with it. I highly recommend not just typing things, try to get some sort of visuals to go with it. And you can also post if you have exciting milestones that you're about to hit, tell people, hey, we're so close to 50%. The next person who gets on is gonna put us over the 50% mark. That gets people excited too. You can post explanations of what Kickstarter is and how it works, behind the scenes of your projects. You can post thank yous. You can either do that through like private messages or through emails. Oh no, I have a kitten falling. You're okay, you're okay. You can post updates to your backers on Kickstarter itself, which is a really way to keep them engaged after they've already pledged. And you can definitely send them individual thank yous as well. People really feel good about contributing to your campaign if they get a personalized thank you from you. Some of the other things that you guys can post ahead of time or during the campaign are any sort of activities that might go along with your books. For me, with the kids book, we're actually doing some coloring book pages. So I'm really excited about that. We're going to be releasing one right before the Kickstarter starts, just kind of to remind people that it's coming, and then we might possibly have a couple more coming out during the campaign as well. You can always do a book trailer. This is one that I've done before. They are very time intensive and a lot of work, but they are pretty darn cool. So if you guys wanted to do a book trailer, that is always an option. You can create mock-ups of the product, which is like almost like a digital version of the book, and then you can do all sorts of things with that. You can use illustrated scenes that come out of the story itself if you want to hire an artist to do some sort of illustrations. Then you've got more and more visuals to keep showing off to your readers or your potential readers. You can also do character illustrations as well. Those are always a lot of fun. Or, you know, if you have a proof copy of your book already in hand, you can take a bunch of pictures of that in lots of cool places with lots of cool different things. So there are really a lot of endless opportunities, but today is really just about sitting down and setting the intention of exactly how much marketing you are going to do throughout the month before Kickstarter and the month of the Kickstarter campaign. So before we jump off and get started on that, I want to leave you guys with a few tips to remember. The first one is I would recommend posting different things to different platforms. So if I post the same picture of a baby dragon on day one of the Kickstarter, and I post it to everything, to my Instagram, to my Facebook, it's in the reels, it's in the stories, it's everywhere, people get a little worn out on seeing that same picture over and over again. So if you have the ability to mix it up a little bit and maybe post something different to Facebook on the same day that you're posting something else to Instagram, that will help keep people more engaged instead of giving them that feeling of redundancy that they've already seen this before. That's really when they stop engaging with it super well. Another tip that I have for you guys is that you can always find a new way to phrase the same data. So you will probably run into this at least some point during the campaign, that your Kickstarter actually doesn't move for a day, maybe two, hopefully not more than that. So you're kind of stuck. I keep telling you guys that my favorite way to keep people updated is to keep, you know, letting them know what milestones we're hitting and celebrating. Well, it's kind of hard to celebrate when you haven't made $1 in the last day, you haven't sold a single book. So just remember, you can phrase things different ways. So it may be that you haven't moved in a couple of days, but if a couple days ago you said, oh my gosh, we're at 42%. Maybe this time you give the dollar amount. You're like, oh guys, we're already past $4,000. This is so exciting. And then if it still hasn't moved the next day, say, oh, you guys, we're only 8% away from that 50% mark. It's so exciting. And you know what? The truth is, it is still exciting. You don't necessarily have to let your backers know that the campaign hasn't moved in a day or two. Just keep that positive attitude going, and that is what's gonna get you the furthest, is when people feel like you're having fun on the campaign and they kind of want to join you in that fun that you're having. And then my last tip that I want you guys to remember is wherever you post anything, you have to include the Kickstarter link every single time. Sometimes include it at the top and the bottom of the post, because I promise, there will be people who can't find it. Even if it's in the post, they still won't be able to find it. So do not ever post anything without a direct link to the Kickstarter campaign. You know, if you have to say link in bio, that's fine, but there has to be a direct link there, because if you're hoping that somebody's going to see that post and then go find the link in a different post, they're not. It has to be in every single post, and you will still have people who can't find it and who will be asking you, how do I get to Kickstarter? And then you will just have to politely, directly send them the link and just be grateful that they want to do Kickstarter, and don't get upset if they can't find the link that was literally in the post you just posted. Now, a couple things that I want you guys to avoid before you jump into this homework. So one of the things that I've learned over my years of lots of trial and error is there's a lot of like Facebook groups, and I'm sure that they exist on other platforms as well. I'm just going to speak to Facebook in this instance, where it's specifically for advertising your Kickstarter campaign. You know, it's like there'll be like 15, maybe 20,000 people in the group, so it seems like a really cool place to go post about it and say, hey, come check me out. I'm just going to tell you guys right now, don't waste your time. For whatever reason, they just don't work. So you can try if you like, but I'm just gonna tell you from my own experience, it's not gonna get you anywhere. And then the second thing to avoid is, as soon as you launch this campaign, watch. You will get so many solicitations from third-party services trying to help you with your marketing, help you with this and that. I would say ignore all of those. I've never heard anything positive about them, and you will get a lot of them. And they will be coming to your email. They'll be coming for you on Kickstarter. The minute you launch that campaign, there is this whole business of people trying to sell services to Kickstarter creators, and just ignore all of them. Just delete them, report them, get rid of it right away, because it's not worth your time either. And then the very last thing I want you guys to avoid is don't feel like you're annoying people. So as long as you are mixing up the content, you're not repeating the same thing every day, then you're fine. I mean, please don't get on your social media and just say, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book over and over. If you're mixing it up and using all of those different ideas that I just gave you guys of content and behind the scenes and new illustrations and things to just keep people excited about it, then that's one thing and it's awesome. And to be honest, if you have anybody in your feed who is annoyed by that, by seeing your new illustrations and your behind the scenes work, you probably don't need to be their friend anyways. So you're really not losing anything if they unfriend you and leave. But the thing that you need to remember is that if you love what you're selling and you think somebody else is going to love it too, you should not be ashamed of posting new content about it every single day if you want. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be that often, but if that is how often you want to post, there is really nothing wrong with that. So now's the time to go ahead and grab those worksheets, start thinking about what platforms you're going to be posting to, and start putting together a schedule of exactly when you want those posts to go out, and start kind of thinking to yourself what kind of content you want to go into each of them. So thank you again for joining me. Enjoy taking a look at these worksheets and putting together your social media schedule, and I will see you guys tomorrow for day 5 of the 5-day Build Your Kickstarter Challenge.